Oh, shit. And I'm an alcoholic addict. Welcome to Recovering Addict. It looks like the internet's going good now. Sweet. I know everything's all clogged up. What?
I just said I suppose so.
I am LT Weaver. I'm an alcoholic addict. I'll be your host this evening here on Recovering Addict.
I'm Felice Weaver. I'm married to an addict. I have partial attributes of a co-addict.
We have self-diagnosed her with co-addiction.
So I'm here to talk about that.
Cody, what's up? Jeffrey, how's it going, brother? Thank you for the awesome compliment about my intro. That's my release video. That was my release intro. I'm coming out of the tunnel of dumb stupidity acts, addiction, and all that kind of good stuff. If you're just catching the replay, this channel is dedicated to recovering addicts and the education thereof. We are here to support people who are coming out of addiction, and we are definitely here to support those who have a significant other who is an addict causing turmoil in the family, and we are here to support that behind the scenes as well as here to educate in front of everybody live. I have been 2 times in my life addicted to drugs to the point where I ended up in a jail and then in an institution. I have gone through IOPs, and now I have studied and am preaching recovery.
Hi, Rena.
And there's my daughter.
Rena,
Hi, Marilyn.
Rena. Hi, Marilyn. Hi, Amanda. Hi, Holly. Ford.
How is
Aaron,
everybody? Holly's here.
Bob,
Sweet Aaron,
Murd.
Bob.
I'm just going to say names. You don't get hello, just a name.
Hello, Bob.
Petey.
Petey. Oh, somebody's got a birthday today. I think his name starts with a P. Is that true,
Last
Petey?
name starts with a J.
Aaron says hi.
Hi. I can read that.
Oh, you read it? Murd said hi, LT's daughter.
Hi. My name is Millie. And I
What's up,
am
Murd?
like E.
Looks like we came from Sober James. Yeah, you guys came from Sober James. I was just over there. What's up, Sober James? How's everybody doing this Friday? Thank God we made it through the week. How did everybody make it through the week? Let me throw this banner up because this is the question at hand right now. Where is your head and your heart today? Have you done your inventory? Is your head and your mind in recovery, and has it been there all day? If it has not been there all day, let's have a little moment of silence right now to clear our heads, to think about our day, and then a little moment of silence for the still suffering addict. Ready? Go. All right. Does that feel better? Everybody take a deep breath. Let that week go away. Let that day go away. We're here for positivity. We're here for serenity. We are here to learn tools to keep us sober. Let's keep our head here the rest of the weekend. Calm, cool, and collected. Isn't that right, you cool cats and cool kittens?
Hey, it's the weekend. Chillax. Watch a movie.
Did Mr.
Don't drink.
Happy birthday. Where is he? He hasn't told us yet. Petey. Petey, say something.
He said, hello, family. Glad to be here.
Right on, right on. It's funny. I've been going through the news in Utah. So I don't know if you guys know if you follow basketball or not, but Rudy Gobert, he tested positive for the COVID, right? He was the one that was making fun of it in the locker room and went around touching all the news people's microphones and all that stuff. And then it came out that he was positive for coronavirus, and the NBA got shut down right after that. So he's almost the guy to blame. But 6 days after that, alcohol sales in Utah liquor stores jumped 56%. So Utah is on the incline. And 6 days after that, well, one of those days was Sunday when the store wasn't open. So it was really 5 days after that it jumped 56%. I think it has to do with, I don't think it's so much people relapsing and going back to alcohol, even though a small percent of that I'm sure is. But I bet it's just the whole hoarding, stocking, prepping mentality. You know, swing by, grab 25 things of toilet paper and, you know, 2 bottles of Jack. I think that's what was really going on. Yeah, we see both their we see Facebook positive is the best way to deal with addiction. Hey Petey, what's your birthday? What is your sober birthday?
It's my birthday. I can cry if I want to. If I want to.
Holly
You
Ford.
try to.
Thank you. We try to be. Me and Sober James, we're like this. We're connected here on that sober world. We know what's up. Hey, brother. What's going on, Michael?
Suppy.
Checking in from Suppy's gym. 3 sets of squats left. Ooh, get them them lightweight. Ain't nobody, everybody want to be a bodybuilder until they want to pick up some heavy ass weights. Who's that?
Oh.
Anybody know that quote?
No, you missed him. There he is.
Right here. Oh no, I said that. I said hi.
Oh, did you read Aaron's?
No.
It's funny. No,
There,
one
oh,
up.
one up. I just saw my boss for 5 hours to let her watch Tiger King.
At a girl.
That is awesome. I almost took that post from the Tiger King where it shows Carol's ex-husband in that picture, and then it shows that new dude Jeff, and they cut the picture in half and actually put them together on this one. I don't know if you can hear my dog barking. We got somebody pulling up in the driveway, but that's what that noise is.
I'm gonna go investigate.
But yeah, I mean, that's got to be the guy. I am telling you, that has got to be the guy. I don't know though. We'll see. I hope it comes out that it is the guy.
I guess Amos is going to Adrian's.
Yeah, that should be what's his face. So anyway, Mike Tyson. No, close though. It's close to the Mike Tyson. I'll bet you a real bodybuilder would tell us. What's up, dog?
What's up, my man?
Just sitting here live on YouTube talking about funny stuff every night, 8:00. We go live.
I just got done with the meeting at the park.
Oh, nice. How'd that go?
Yeah, it was good, man. You know, I mean, the demographic that kind of shows up nowadays is weird, but
Yeah.
that's what happens when you have a meeting in the park, I guess.
Bob says, I don't know. I think they're sitting around the house getting plastered. I think they're a whole bunch of livers in the crisis right now.
Oh yeah. What was that guy? His boat was named Cirrhosis of the River.
Oh, yeah. My buddy, he used to have a boat, and he named it Cirrhosis of the River. That's pretty funny. That is a good one.
Speaking of livers, my friend Takeshi was playing football,
No,
and his liver explodes.
jeez. No, that quote was Ronnie Coleman. Ronnie Coleman was a beast.
That was a big boy.
What would you do if it were me at the door? I would invite you in, dude, and you would sit right here on this chair. And then Captain Anonymous would show up and you guys would hang out. We're reading comments. 2/17/2. Is that today?
20. 2/17/20.
Is that a 20? So what is that? 60 days? Is that 60 days, bro?
Pretty sure.
Let us know if not. Hello, friends. Hope all is well. Hey, what's up, Alexis Curland? Glad you're here. Oh, hi, Missy. I seen you popping in, hiding in them digital bushes. Why don't you poke your head out and say hi? See?
Ronnie Coleman.
Yep, he was amazing. Ronnie Coleman. Lightweight. Ain't nothing but a peanut.
Is that how he talked? Too?
Yeah.
Oh, I
He's
picked like
high
that.
pitch. He kind of sounded like Mike Tyson a little bit.
Just without a lisp.
Yeah, with no lisp.
She's like, I just do stuff. I'm just gonna grab
You guys out of here?
Yeah.
See
Bye,
ya.
love you.
Love you guys.
Love you. There she is. Hi, Missy.
Let's be good. Stay corona-free, okay?
Yeah. Petey. Oh, well, hey, guess what, brother? Oh, you out of here?
Yeah.
All right. Love you, dude.
You too.
See ya. Petey, this is for you, man. Which one's Petey? This one.
60 days! 60 days!
60 days.
Congratulations on that 60 days, and thanks for being a part of our recovery family.
Congratulations, Pete. Daddy, we're phone home.
That always glitches out, but I know the audio is good when it's glitching. It just has to be the video catching up to the audio, so I ain't worried about it too much. Y'all be back here in just a second. And it's cool that the audio streams just as well, because just close your eyes and pretend we're on a podcast. That's basically all this is anyway. But congratulations, Petey. Really proud of you. 60 days, man. That's no joke. You gotta know what I'm saying?
Captain A gave me something today.
What'd he give you?
Give me a mask.
Oh, you found his mask, huh?
Anonymous. He's here.
I know you have to go to this planet.
No, I didn't.
But you wanted
What's up, Merc?
Daddy wanted
Merc would jump in his arms if James showed up.
Aw, that's sweet.
I'd say, duck, you're gonna hit your head on the door.
Dad, Captain wanted to wear it. You wanted to wear this for the show.
I'm not wearing that for the show, but thank
Joe
you.
Exotic at your front door.
If I had Joe Exotic at the front door,
I'll slam it.
I would instantly go live and we would have an awesome interview with him for sure.
All about Carol Baskin.
Damn Carol Baskin. You're welcome, Petey. You deserve it, man. 60 days. 60 days. Took me a couple hundred tries to get 60 days sober. As y'all know, I relapsed at 47 days. And that was the addict. That's that stinking thinking. That stinking thinking got back into my mind. I drank a freaking half a pint of whiskey. I should have just got smashed if I was going to do it. Like, you know what I'm saying? But probably a good thing I didn't. I might have quit rehab, and that could have been a really bad thing. But hey, let's jump into this 24 hours a day. It's the 17th Friday of April. And the AA thought of the day is every time we go to an AA meeting, every time we say the Lord's Prayer, whenever we have quiet time before breakfast, we're paying a premium on our insurance against taking that first drink. And every time we help another alcoholic, we're making a larger payment on our drink insurance. We're making sure that our policy doesn't lapse. I am building up an endowment in serenity, peace, and happiness that will put me on easy street for the rest of my life. Are you building that? Is the question. That is a good question. Are you guys making insurance premium plans in your sobriety? Is your head in the right place? Everybody did their inventory. We did a moment of silence just for that. Almost made it through the first episode today. Just get through that first one, dude, and then you're going to be a weirdo hooked
Then
on it
it's
like
a
we are.
roller coaster ride from there.
Yep. Your life will never be the same.
It's just that uphill, and then it's like, woo.
There's kids in the room. Comment. Merc hates Carol Baskin. I'm going to shut my window.
Me and my sister were just talking about how genius Carol Baskin was getting everybody to work for free. Genius.
Getting to do what?
Getting all our people to work for free
Oh, yeah. She's a genius. She's a cool cat. There's no doubt about it.
with a lot of cool kittens.
All right. So here's the meditation of the day. I gained faith by my own experience of God's power in my life, the constant recognition of God's spirit in all my personal relationships, the ever accumulating weight of evidence in support of God's guidance, the numberless instances in which seeming chance or wonderful coincidence can be traced to God's purpose in my life. All these things gradually, and what is that word? Engender a feeling of wonder, humility, and gratitude to God. These in turn are followed by a more sure and abiding faith in God and his purpose. And here's our prayer of the day. I pray that my faith may be strengthened every day. I pray that I may find confirmation of my life in the good things that have come into my life. Oh, yeah, that's good. Muy bien. Está muy bien. I got that song stuck in my head, Petey, from when I was editing that video. I've had that little whistle in my head all day. Ronnie Coleman had like 10 back surgeries, walked with 2 canes, and documentary says he's on 30 milligrams. Ugh, it's brutal watching him walk today. Carol Baskin never seen that show. My sponsor relapsed after 17 years. Nobody's immune. One day at a time forever. Yep, that's so true, dude. We're all prone to relapse. And that's what we've been doing. We've been going through this book called Staying Sober. It's a guide for relapse prevention by Terrence Gorski. We figured out everything about an addict and the possibilities of relapse. Just like Michael said, it's possible for any one of us to relapse, and especially if we are not focused on recovery. If our head's not 100% in recovery all day, every day, you are in trouble of relapse, and it comes upon us subconsciously, And subconsciously, those blinders of denial start wrapping around your head. And if you don't catch those warning signs, and there's 37 of them in this book, you could possibly end up down the road to relapse, because relapse starts when you start living in your character defects. Another thing I want to say is I put a link to this book. If you want to buy it, in the description, if you click that link to purchase this book, you will help out this show. Just saying. We also figured out that because of addiction, co-addiction exists. The person related to the addict wants to protect family and protect self-interest. And at first it's a natural response. We want to protect the family. But after years of just having to deal with it, it trains their minds and turns them into character defect having people. And then they become addicted to the addict. And sometimes there's, pre things that happened when you were a child that you kind of choose what you know, and you choose somebody like the person you grew up with, and you've always kind of been a co-addict. A co-addict can be a child that dealt with a parent. It could be parents dealing with children, and the way that they turn into enabling them, and they get in these habits of their character defects, and it becomes an addiction for them. They're tracking their emails, or they're watching where they go and watching the bank account, and they're trying to do everything possible to bring that addict to its knees and control that person. And trying to control somebody isn't possible, because we are in control of nobody. We're barely in control of ourselves. Yeah. So the co-addict can also relapse. So say the addict comes out of the thing and he's doing his program and they're doing fine, and the co-addict hasn't gotten treated for or recognized their character defects and their part in the role of the addiction and the addict. They could possibly relapse. And then without the alcohol or drugs in the relationship, there can still be this conflict. And that comes from two people that need to work a separate sober program apart from each other. What do you say? When did we talk that we were going to get sober? Was in August? June, July, August. Yeah, August 20th, I checked into rehab. I checked into the hospital. I just hit my 6 months because I drank a little bit. So my sober birthday is a little over 6 months. Oh, the question of Zoom. What did Sober James say? Yep. If we're not living the solution, we're living the problem. Amen. And then to answer your Ford Holly, and to answer your question, Holly, the Zoom meeting, if you go to the private Facebook group, and if you're not a member of that, go ahead and join. There's a Zoom invite meeting right there. It's tomorrow, Saturday at 3:00 Mountain Standard Time. And that's Utah time. So just look up if you don't know what Mountain Eastern, or if you don't know what time you're in. And I have some friends in Australia that do not have Facebook. So they asked if I would send them the link through email. So if you want to join us and you're not a Facebooker, shoot me an email. I will copy and paste that link into this email, and I will send you the invite through there as well. But for now, it's on our private Facebook page. And if you don't remember, y'all, there's a $100 giveaway next Tuesday for those of you who share 3 of the videos, screenshot it, and post your screenshots on that Facebook page. And whoever does that, we were going to draw a name Tuesday, and whoever's name we draw, we send, no kidding, $100 to you. But so far, we only have 2 people in it. Right now, there's a 50-50 chance between Cody and Gina. So the odds are really good right now if you guys jump in. Just share 3 of the videos. And I want to thank everybody who has subscribed. Our subscribers are growing really fast. So if you're watching and you've just subscribed, thank you very much. That helps us out. Another way you can help us out is that when I count to 3, everybody click the like button. Ready? 1. I'm going to watch the lag. 2, 3. Ready? Click it. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000, 6, 1,000, 7, 1,000, 8, 1,000, 9, 1,000, 10, 1,000, 11, 1,000, 12. Wow. We're about 11 or 12 seconds on that lag. 11 or 12 seconds. And thank you for punching that like button. And whoever hit the dislike button, I feel bad for you. Y'all don't have to share. That gets Cody's odds up in the air. Absolutely. That's a 50-50 odds right now. Will you take Megan outside, please?
Click, 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 click.
Link, take Megan outside, please. Where's the 8 instead of the at on your email?
It's in red.
Whoops. Right here, bro. Oh, yeah, that's stupid. Oh my gosh.
That's better.
Boom.
No wonder we haven't gotten any emails.
No wonder. Everybody's like, this email's stupid.
Doesn't even make sense. Some other recovering addicts. don't
Ah,
know
you
your
see,
emails.
that's why James is there, man. He catches all my little details that I don't catch, and then I try to hook him up as best I can from my end of the interweb. Share
I'll
where?
wait for it. I don't know if I have to.
We're gonna post that, Danielle, in the comments right now. It's our private Facebook page. It's a private group for you have to be approved to join because we're trying to weed out people who aren't truly there for recovery. Because I'm serious about recovery. I saw other Facebook pages and they let trolls in, and some of these trolls are trying to trigger people. You know how they are. They just talk crap and nobody did anything about it. And I seen people like literally disturbed. Like, I've only been clean 10 days. Why are you posting this picture? I thought this was a recovery group and blah, blah, blah. So I was like, you know what? I'm starting a Facebook page that's seriously dedicated to recovery. And so my main goal is to keep this group on track of recovery, keep our minds in recovery so that all day long we can stay sober, because it's so dangerous right now, especially how dangerous it would be to relapse, especially if you go out into the drugs, the hard drugs. We don't even know what's out there right now because of the way the borders are, the cutting of the fentanyl, all that crap is just really, really, really dangerous right now. So I created that Facebook page. It's a private Facebook page called Recovering Addict. You join that, and that's where you post it. Long story short, that's where you post it, Daniel. Sorry. Kind of went off on a tangent there. Got to put a reminder. I'm going to go forget. What you going to forget, Aaron? You better not forget the Zoom meeting. Y'all better be there. Jeffrey, the last time I went to rehab was June. I've been sober since, and the other two were before that. 6/7/2019 is my new sobriety date. Holly Ford, we are going to put that on our list.
Just did.
Sweet. Let's go.
Glad you're here, Denise. Miss Montague.
Yes. Glad you're here too. That's awesome. Hell no, accidentally dislike. It's possible. It's possible there's an accidental dislike, no doubt. Hey, if you don't like LT's vids, feel free to hit that dislike button twice. That's a good one. Yeah, put it on the private Facebook page. So just take 3 of the YouTube videos of the last 3 streams or the 3 that stick out to you. I would suggest stream number 10. That was Steve's story, if you remember that one. Video number 20 is my counselor or my sponsor. And when he came and told his story, share that one. And then just share another one. Whatever you think might help, but just share it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever else there is out there. Just share it anywhere and then post a screenshot that you shared it on the private Facebook page with your Venmo, Cash App, or your YouTube Pay, and we'll put you in for the drawing. So far, there's only 2 people in there for $100. The last time we did this, we only gave away $50, and we had 7 or 8 people shook it up, pulled it out, and Raina was our big winner. It was funny.
She almost died that day.
I know she fell out of bed. She just said she didn't. Facebook is rough. Michael Teeter, have a good night, brat.
Hi, Paul.
I know, but I just used the other day.
Click on Amanda Hadley.
Top one?
Yep.
Can you guys say hi to our almost 2-year-old? He's sitting here so cute watching. Axel.
Axel.
Hi, buddy.
Are you there, bud?
Hi, Axel.
Hello.
Abu.
Hi, Axel.
Yeah, I don't care if it's the up or down, James. I know what you're talking about. Please educate the people when we start our clean day or sober day. Please educate people when we start our clean day or sober day. Like we restart, is that what you mean? Yeah, so once you are abstinent from drugs and alcohol, the day that you came off of them, there's a debate too. It's like, okay, I took a drink of beer and I'm done. Is that day your clean day, or is it the next day when it actually wears off? So choose one of those 2 days, and that is the day that you're clean. And if you do drugs or drink that start your date over. You just, and I actually, on mine here, I have the AA Chip app. It gives you the daily reflections. It shows you what days you're on. My AA counts from the day that I relapsed. If you look at my things, it's white, orange. Right here at 47 days, I relapsed. And so I started my date over, which is 10/5, October 5th, 2019. And on my NA was the actual 8/19/19. That's the day I quit. And that was 242 days ago. So I got both. I'm tracking both of them because I know I only drank 3 shots of whiskey and that technically started my date over, but I started getting better 242 days ago. Know what I mean? Angelo says, was thinking about quitting every day. When LT decided to call it quits, it helped me call it quits. Thank you, LT. 6 months sober, one day at a time. Amen, brother.
Hey, big brother.
I feel like giving you a hug after that.
Do you know what your sober day is?
6 months.
I'll
We're
put
both
it-
6 months.
Put it on there.
Cracks me up. You call your sponsor Dell, not Dell. It is Dell. That's what I
Dell.
said.
Dale.
Dell.
Chip and Dale.
I'm going to read that again. Cracks me up. You call your sponsor Dell, not Dell.
No, not no.
What's the difference?
I know.
Naomi.
Hi, Naomi.
Everybody's saying hi to Axel now.
Axel.
It's helping the channel either way. Thank you, Danielle. You're absolutely right. Uh-oh.
Go.
Gosh dang
That's
it.
probably on there twice.
James,
now.
have you experienced that? You're trying to like kind of read the comments and then all of a sudden they're just like, you're like, whoa, where'd they all go? It's like, I've noticed like 4 things. You got your audio, you got your video, and then your little gadgets and gadgets we like to play, like the thing you see across the bottom of the screen. And then you got the comments and they're all streaming at different bit rates. And all of a sudden one will get through faster than the other. And I hate it when the chat does it though, because I'm sitting there reading a comment and all of a sudden, whoo, it's gone. William Cole. Wow, that's a big comment. Let me take a deep breath before I read this. Hey, hate that people who just try to get a rise out of you. Yeah, I go through that a lot and I see red because this is life or death. The things said could send someone with a little recovery back out. I always thought we were here to pick each other up, not to put each other down. It's hard enough to battle the regret, the guilt, and shame and beat ourselves up. We really don't need help. Yeah, that's exactly, man. That is exactly my mindset when I created that channel. And then I haven't done it for a while, but I'd go back through these other recovery groups and find a troll in the comments in the bottom. And we're like, what are you doing? And I'd be like, come over to this place, man. It's much better. Naomi is back. Glad you're here. How far behind am I in comment? Oh man, I am way behind. Because Merck said amen to that. And that was probably like
You're
3
welcome,
minutes
Amanda.
ago.
Hey, Corey.
Oh, absolutely. We appreciate you. Absolute you. What's going on? What's your bad day about there, Danessa? Corey, welcome, brother. This dude makes awesome. I still need to upload those. He makes awesome little, I don't even know what they're called, pictures with cool sayings on it. As long as you're clean in rehab, you start the day after you quit. Oh, okay. So I put the beer down today, which would mean my sober day would be tomorrow, right? Something like that. Carmen, what's going on?
Where
Welcome.
in the world is
Carmen
Daniela?
Dosiela. Dosiela.
That was cool until you couldn't say your name.
I know. Hey, Steve, what's up, brother? Oh, sorry. My sober day from alcohol is 12/15/20. Sober day for meth is 8/12/28/19. I'm in rehab since December. My sober date
Yeah, lots
from
of
meth
birthdays.
was June. I want to say June something 2008. I hadn't done meth, and so I did meth like a crazy person up until I was 23 something when I landed in jail. Got clean off of meth finally, and I didn't do meth until a few years later, and I was scared to do it, but I was at my buddy's wedding. I ended up just drunk, like way too drunk before the wedding, and I was pass out, getting sick, drunk, and it was only like 8:00 because we started drinking. I don't know, who knows when we started drinking, but I walk into the hotel room and my one buddy's chopping up a line. I'm like, give me some of that. He's like, you? I'm like, give me some of that. And I remember, man, as soon as I hit the end of that line, ding, I was sober. And that was the last time I did meth. Then I ended up in some deep conversation. And about halfway through it, I'm like, why am I enjoying this conversation? This is stupid. Oh, yeah, you did meth, dummy.
That's funny. Hi, Steve. Hey, Tracy. Glad you guys are here.
You can make the decision to get honest and stop denial, because when you use, you don't know how the program works. So listen to others here and use it spiritually. Amen. Exactly. You don't want to get misguided. That's what my counselor always told me. He's like, we would ask him questions, like, when should we start being like worried about being a sponsor and all that stuff? And he's like, hey, the first year of your sobriety, you just shut your mouth and listen and take in go to 90 and 90, find a counselor, find a sponsor, go, immerse yourself in recovery and just soak it all in before you. I mean, if you have the natural gift to give it back out or whatever, and you just, you got something on your mind, speak at an AA meeting to vent and all that kind of stuff, but just soak as much in as you can. Tracy Silversmith, welcome. No worries. Show up when you can. He asked if you were in rehab. Do you count that? As long as you were, well, yeah. If you were clean through rehab, absolutely. I was clean 2 months into rehab, and then I relapsed in rehab, and then I was clean after that. So yeah, absolutely. Honestly, open mind and willingness. Yeah. Polly sent me a cool little thing today, didn't you, Polly?
Polly.
It's like FOPE or something like that. FOPE, focus, plan, observe, execute. I like that.
That's good.
Thanks, Polly. Learned a saying at the Haven House in Oxford: we don't have bad days, only bad moments. Always think positive. Amen. And you can always say, it could be worse. My buddy I worked with at work, this older guy, and always a positive attitude, just one of the happiest dudes. If he was mad, things were really going bad. But even on your worst day, it could be worse. You could always say it could be worse. Even on Linky, the day the accident happened, it could have been worse. Felice was also a blessing to get her husband and family. Thank you, Felice, for being a guiding light. Oh,
thank you, big brother. I love you.
What's up, Cassie? 8:32. It's already been 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I haven't even started in the book yet. Man, we better
Talks
jump in
amongst
here.
yourselves. We shall read.
All right, I'm going to start preaching. I'm going to start preaching recovery, y'all. After I read these comments, I'm just so addicted to them right now.
Such an addict. Focus him. Just be like, don't look.
Okay. So we learned about relapse. We have warning signs and we can relapse. The co-addict has warning signs and they can relapse. And relapse, if I were to relapse and go back out to the streets, I'd probably end up dead now. I've been to jail and I've been to institutions. The third option is death. She starts relapsing. It's going to put a conflict in our marriage. And then that could possibly cause just, discontent, strife, resentment. She could start living in resentment of things that she didn't forgive me of in the past. And so that the relapse is possible on both ends of this spectrum. So what we're going to get into now is relapse planning, right? Relapse prevention planning. You have to plan. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Everybody's heard that, I'm sure. So the first thing we want to talk about is stabilization. So the first step in relapse prevention planning is to stabilize both the addict and the co-addict. So Felice and I are now both stabilized. I've done my relapse prevention plan. I had to read it out loud in my IOP. The addict is stabilized through the process of detoxification or treatment and post-acute withdrawal symptoms. The spouse is stabilizing by treating the co-addict crisis through detachment from the addict's crisis, by regaining a reality-based perspective, and by the development of some basic personal strengths. This often requires both attendance to Al-Anon and a professional counselor. So stabilization. The addict has to detox, has to get off drugs, has to start working a program. The co-addict has to push and detach from that addict and understand that they can't control that person, and then to start gaining back their strength and their own and taking care of themselves, giving themselves the care that they need so that they can be present in the relationship. As they both heal, they both grow together, you know? So that's that stabilization part. And that is the first step into planning. Stabilize. And then assessment. Prior to developing a relapse prevention plan, it is necessary to evaluate the addict, the co-addicts, and the family system. So you got three things to evaluate there. You got to evaluate me, you got to evaluate her, and then our system here at the house. The evaluation should assess current problems for each family member, their willingness and their ability to initiate a personal recovery program, and their willingness to become involved in a program of family recovery. What is wrong with me? Okay, I was an alcoholic. What did I do about it? I checked myself into detox and an IOP. Okay, I assessed the situation, what was wrong, how am I going to get out of it? I started working 12 steps. She started going to counseling as she assessed what she was doing in the relationship together. And then we look at, okay, here's our kids, here's our finances, what troubles, where are we at in the spectrum? How bad did we go off? How bad did we go south with what we were doing? And now we've hit there, okay, and we stop. We start picking it back up. And that's the assessment. So, okay, where are we? What do we need to do? How far broke are we? How broke is the relationship? You know what I mean? Before you can really start working together to plan to figure things out with your system you got going on. And that's raising kids, getting them to school, buying them clothes, feeding them and disciplining them and, you know, and all that kind of stuff. Number 3, education about alcoholism, co-addiction, and relapse. So accurate information is the most powerful of all recovery tools. Accurate information is the most powerful. Somebody just said that. We just broke out of our addiction and people are feeding us the wrong information, and that could cause somebody to go back out. So find people you trust that'll guide you to the right places for accurate information on recovery, like Sober James or Nicole or I and Felice or anybody in this chat. I haven't seen, we only had the trolls one time and we booted them. I figured out how to boot them. Anything I need to, James out of here? Night, brother.
No, they're just talking to Tracy.
Okay. And so educate yourself. And if you're the spouse of an addict, you definitely need to get a ton of education under your belt, because you need to understand how to deal with and take care of yourself to deal with them and know that you can't control them. And then when they end up in a bad situation, how are you going to react when that bad situation seems bad? And to that addict, it's horrible. But when in reality, it's the best thing that could have happened to him. When I went to jail when I was a tweaker, that was the best thing that ever happened to me. I landed in jail. It got me off of meth. It put me through a detox, and detoxing off of meth ain't that bad. You just go to sleep. You know what I mean? You just pass out and you sleep. It's not like heroin where your bones are crawling out of your skin. You just sleep. And then I woke up and realized, oh man, I'm in jail. Oh, what's going on? What kind of charges am I facing? And then I went through the process of the court and got probation. But while I was in jail, I got clean. I was able to educate. I got to get involved in programs and read the Bible. And I got 3 meals a day. My boss came and put some money on my book, so I was able to buy a little bit more commissary. And, you know, it turned out to be a good place. And I look back on my time in jail, and once I looked at that locked door and realized, well, you ain't getting out of here for a couple months, I just enjoyed myself. I would jog up the stairs and I'd exercise and made friends. I started learning Spanish. I read a bunch of books. And it's not that bad. It wasn't the prison, and it wasn't federal prison. It was county jail, which is a godsend. It was a hotel. It was Motel 6, and they always left the light on.
Yeah, and those family members or those who love addicts, education. Otherwise, you're just going to sit there and you're going to take everything personally, and you're going to make yourself miserable. I joined a couple of support groups, and I noticed that a lot in people. They're like, I'm so hurt right now because they keep making empty promises. But the more you educate yourself, the more you free yourself from their addiction, and you don't get hurt as easily and don't take things personally.
Yep. Education. So that's what number 3 is. There's 3. We're on number 3. The addict and the family must learn about the disease of addiction and the condition of co-addiction. So you have to understand what the addict is. And just like she just said, don't take it personal when you're attacked by the addict, because that addict is just screaming for drugs. I can see it in my mind. I need to make a video to describe what the addict. I kind of made one. Actually, I'm going to pull that up. We'll play that later, okay? And this was kind of my little on closing back doors, but I'll play the first part of it. I have 3 characters in this. It's me, which I'm the person that lives and breathes in this world. It's Leonard. He's my alter ego, who's the angel on my shoulder. And then Ted, who is my evil addict character. And how that addict is just trying to roar and get out. And it doesn't care who's in front of it. So I'm going to read this. I'm going to let her talk. I'll load that up and I'll show you guys that video. It's pretty funny. I like it. I'm trying to be a editor and stuff, so you'll see. But let me finish this paragraph. The addict and the family must learn about the disease of addiction and the co-addiction of and the condition of co-addiction, treatment, and relapse prevention planning. This education is best provided to the family as a unit in multiple family classes. Yeah. It doesn't matter. Yep. So it is helpful if the education is accompanied by a separate group therapy programs for each family member. Yeah, and that's kind of what we did. I went to my counselors. I had 2, and then I had my IOP group, and then we had family group therapy together, and then she had sisters that she trusted who were walking her through literature that she read. And so we had separate and then together, and now we don't rely so much on our separate counseling as we do to the together counseling now. Does that make sense? We had to fix our issues separately. I mean, not so separate that I moved out or anything, or we,
No.
we would still live together and still communicated, but we had to just detach our bad company of bumping heads together, get our heads on straight. And then slowly through that process, we've been coming closer and closer. And I don't see us coming apart unless she relapses and we start fighting and she just, reverts back. I don't see it happening, but that's a possibility. Or me reverting back and going back out and getting into drugs and alcohol. The addict should enter an addict group. The co-addict should enter a spouse's group, and the co-addict's children should enter children's group. In these group treatment sessions, that individual recovery of all family members is initiated. And that's what we all pretty much did. My kids were able to come to our family group therapy for that every week. It was pretty cool. Let me load this up. And hopefully I don't overbog the internet here.
I'm sure you won't. But yeah, definitely educate. And if you are a co-addict, go get some help. You may not realize you need help. You might think you have it all under control. But once you start talking about it to somebody who understands and is willing to help you through it, you'll see that it really is helpful. And it will also show you that you're not alone. There's a lot of families out there that struggle with this stuff. And some are just afraid to talk about it. And others don't want their spouse or loved one to look bad in front of other people, so they keep it to themselves, but that just hurts you further. So just find somebody you trust or a counselor that you can talk to and help you through your own co-addictive issues.
Yeah, exactly. That. All right, so this is how I see addiction. And now the video that I made is about closing your back doors. But this is what addiction feels like in my life. And so that was the video. That's what the addict mind is like for me. It attacks you. It doesn't care who you are. It'll beat you up and chew you up. And if you're the spouse or any relative close to the addict, when the addict is hungry for drugs, you're going to get chewed up and spit out, and you can't take it personally. And that's kind of the point of what we're trying to get at when the addict attacks. Don't take it personally. Just set those boundaries and stay strong, no matter how hard and how deep it seems that they're trying to cut you. You know what I mean? Oh, is there no sound? Then I got to play it again.
Dang it.
I should have read the comments. I was all happy about it. Crap. Well, let's let's watch this inspirational quote by Cassie, and then we will watch it again. I truly sorry.
Jeffrey, you're thinking of the wrong Holly. Just FYI, I think that clears it up. There's a Holly Ford and there's a Holly Brady.
This is
And
Holly.
you are thinking of Holly Brady. This Holly Ford has been sober since 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh, and
I don't
got
know
some
if you
news
guys
on
cleared
Holly,
that up
too.
already, but I was just going to clear that up right now.
I got news on Holly. I'll let you know here shortly.
Hey, good people. Back again today with the motivational quote here on Recovering Addicts. You must be the change you wish to see in the world. Gandhi. As always, you know what to do. Keep spreading that love.
Keep spreading
Did
that
that one
love.
have audio?
Yes, that one definitely had audio. That was from
Okay.
the server of the streaming. So, okay, we're good. I'm going to reset up this screen share again. I'm going to do it this time with audio. I forgot to click that button right there. And then I share it.
Love you, Cassie.
Kaboom. Just like that. All right, it should work this time.
Who was able to read the lips? Because that's very impressive.
Yeah, somebody's amazing. Okay, here we go.
Welcome to Recovering Addict. I got some good news. I graduated my IOP program. Now I'm on to the aftercare portion. If you notice it's still really echoey in here, that's because we're still remodeling, but we did get a bunch of painting done. Check it out. Hey, what's up, El Tizzle? I heard you're like, what, 5 or 6 months clean now? Yeah, about that. Bro, I told you all you needed was willpower. Yeah, I guess you're right. I do got some good willpower. Remember that time that you drank that little tiny half pint of whiskey? They called it a relapse. I call it BS. Dude, I say you were in total control. You stopped when you wanted to, remember? I'll bet you can do it again. Want to hit the liquor store real quick and snag one just back and chill? You've been working so hard. You just watch a movie, kick back and relax. You just transition, dude. Reward yourself. You're kicking ass. You deserve it. Whiskey. That does sound good. Who left the back door open? Ted, what are you doing here? Hey, what's up, Leonard? Looking good, man. You better get out of here, prick. You, PTA. Pause. Think. Act. Ted, get out of here. You better get out of here. What does it matter anyway? He's gonna fail. You're a loser anyway, and nobody likes you. You're fat, you're ugly, screw you. You're gonna fail just like you always do anyway, LT. What'd I tell you about leaving the back door open? You ever gonna listen to me? That was Ted. He's the addict. He'll try to get you in all kinds of trouble. He's smooth, he's funny, he's ridiculously good looking, and he's wicked rotten. He tells him whatever he needs to hear to get him to use, and too many times he listens to him.
All right. What do you guys think? That's the addict that I know. Know what I mean? I hope there was sound that time. You gave me 3 favorite Russians. Where are we at here?
Holly, are you all good with that misunderstanding? I don't want people to be frustrated in this. Let me know.
What happened?
Jeffrey thought Holly was the other Holly, so there was a little bit of a misunderstanding
Oh,
there
yeah.
of her sobriety.
Holly Ford in the comments is not Holly on the corner here in the chat. And she actually reached out to me today, or we were talking and communicating. She thinks she might be infected now. She's got the symptoms. She's got the fever. She's getting sick. She had to work again tonight. So hopefully this weekend, she's still sober. She's still plowing through. So I'll keep you guys updated, but keep her in your prayers. She's on the front lines as a nurse fighting the battle, and she now thinks that she's come down with it. And that's the last I heard.
All right. Good update, Holly. Thank you. Glad everybody's all good now.
Yeah. All good.
Summer Holt says, I've seen this video. Yes, this is me exactly.
Who said that?
Summer Holt. I went back up. I don't know. Right. Oh,
Here.
yeah. Nope, that's not it. You went too far.
Oh, cool. Well, welcome, Summer. Haven't seen that face around
Hi,
before.
Summer.
Thank you so much for joining us. And if you are here and you guys want to help us, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button.
Oh, hi, Veronica. Glad you checked in. Enjoy your movie night.
Where is Zanette? Zanette, are you out there watching?
Zanette, are you here?
I can understand Holly though too. Our sober dates are something it's a prized possession after a minute, you know what I mean? And it wasn't easy to get. So I feel your pain. But us addicts, So what Jeffrey can do, and I'm sure he already did, I haven't read the comments, is step 10. You know what I mean? We take moral inventory, and when we are wrong, we promptly admitted it. And then as a person on the other side of that, we work the program and we forgive each other, right? It's all good. I'm sure you guys already got that all worked out. Either way, whatever Holly it was, it shouldn't be one. Yep, no doubt about it. So, motivational quote
See
from
if I can
Cassie. Good.
Yep.
No,
I'm gonna
leave
go
her
look it
out
up.
there. Leave her out there. I don't want to hear nails clicking on the. I hate that noise. She'll get bored of scratching.
She'll just go to the neighbor's house.
Yeah. Yeah. Prayers to Holly. She's out there battling for reals. Close that out and keep my internet running good. All right. So number 4 is warning sign identification. We just looked at stabilization, then we looked at assessment, and now we are looking at education about alcoholism, co-addiction, and relapse. And then number 4, warning sign identification. And that's what we've been leading up to as the addict and the co-addict. I still forgot to put them on the dang Facebook page, but oh well. I will one day, I promise. There's 37 for the addict and relapse, and then there's 37 for the co-addict. Warning signs that we need to pay attention to, because if we start learning these warning signs, seeing them in ourselves, we can catch us in the middle of a relapse or the beginning of a relapse before we actually go back to drugs or alcohol, or causing conflict in a marriage, or between a father and son and mother or daughter, or whatever, brother, sister. So warning sign identification. Both the addict and the co-addict need to identify the personal warning signs that indicate they are becoming dysfunctional. Again, this is best done in group setting. The addict is better able to identify relapse warning signs when working with other addicts. Co-addicts are best able to initially identify relapse warning signs when working with other co-addicts. Relapse warning sign lists for addiction and co-addiction are useful guides for personal warning sign identification. And then number 5 is family validation and warning signs. After each family member has developed a personal list of warning signs and reviewed them in his or her group, a series of family sessions is scheduled. During these sessions, a family member presents the personal lists of warning signs and asks for feedback. Other family members discuss the warning signs and help assess that they are specific and observable. New warning signs may be added to the list based on the feedback of others, since each family member has a list of warning signs that precede acute relapse episodes. There is no identified patient. That makes sense to me. So all participants from position of equality, all participate from the position of equality. They essentially say to each other, we all have been equally affected in various ways by the addictive disease. So everybody brings their relapse warning signs to the table. I read mine out loud and I got feedback for mine. She needs to read hers out loud and get feedback for what she could possibly do. Know what I mean? Where are we at? Thanks, Cassie. Thank you. But does that make sense? That addict thing I showed you? That's what it reminds me of when the addict is attacking. It's just vicious and evil and wicked, and it doesn't care what it's got to say to get what it wants. And the more into sobriety you get, the slicker and smooth it gets. At first, it's vicious and ugly and evil if that's what it needs to break through. But it'll get sweet and smooth if it has to. Whatever it takes to cut through and get what it wants is what your addict will do. And we want to avoid relapse to ever be like that again.
Yeah, I like how everybody starts on the same level. Nobody was affected more than anybody else.
It's true.
So nobody can play the victim or
No blame
patient,
game.
I think is what that meant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got it.
That's good.
That was really good. Is any of this hitting home with you guys? No? Know what I mean? So the family relapse prevention plan, family members discuss each other's warning signs, how the family has dealt with those warning signs in the past, and what strategies could be effectively used in the future. Future situations in which warning signs are likely to be encountered and identified. Strategies for more effective management of warning signs for each family member are discussed. During this process, a great deal of role playing and problem solving occurs. Problems are often identified that are taken back to the separate therapy groups for further work. Inventory training. Inventory. Remember what we discussed about inventory? Inventory is checking yourself throughout the day on how you're handling things, how are your character defects playing in the role of the way you act in any situation, either positive or negative. If it's negative, you stop, you do a step 10, you admit you're wrong, and you press forward. And if you're acting positively, good. Keep pressing. Make sure your head's in recovery. Inventory training. All members of the family receive training in how to complete a morning planning inventory and an evening review inventory. These focuses heavily on time structuring, realistic goal setting, and problem solving. And number 8 is communication training. The family members must learn to communicate effectively in order to relapse prevention planning to work. So in order for it to work, you got to learn to communicate. The family is trained in the process of giving and receiving feedback in a constructive and caring manner. Just like we said, you have to be able to vent to somebody who's not going to criticize, minimize, or judge you for it. And we should treat each other like that, you know. And it seems like when you come to a family and the family starts talking to each other, you have a more tendency to a little bit more rude and abrasive than you would with a stranger. And it should be the opposite in my opinion.
I think we've come a long way as far as that.
I think so too.
We're able to be a lot more honest with each other and not take it personally and get defensive, but we can talk about it.
Yep. My family gives a crap about the drugs, but alcohol they don't. But it just reminds me I'm powerless over them because they don't understand alcohol is a drug. Period.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It's mind altering, it's poison, and it could lead you to a life of jail, institution, and death. It seems like a little more crime goes with the other stuff. But I mean, if you're out there drunk driving and you smash and kill somebody, so you're right. Absolutely. Little doper's trying to use the credit card.
Let's hear about the doper.
Little doper's trying to get me to use my credit card to buy him another month of gaming.
This ain't happening.
It's like $12 a month, but if you buy it for a year, it's only $60.
$54.99.
That's exactly how addicted egos do me up. Yep, that's true. My addict has always reminded me how much easier it is when I hug, drink, or high. Well, that's probably a fat finger. Used to get drunk or high, and how all my problems will disappear. Yeah, those that forgetters. We got those natural forgetters. Thank you. Street Fighter and Johnny. I pretty much rotated through all my new shirts, so now they're going to start reappearing. It's not up for me for them to understand in my recovery. I'm only responsible for my own. Yep. Just live it by example. They'll come around. We've deserved the criticism or the distrust that they rightfully have towards us. And we just swallow it and keep pressing forward in our recovery and just prove it. You almost have to not care what they think, or don't get hurt by what they think, and just keep pressing forward, you know. Trust that you're doing what you're doing. We talked about that yesterday, I believe. My mom is a trigger. She criticizes everything. Oh, that's got to be tough.
That would be hard.
That would be definitely tough.
Just remember, you can't control her.
I have an addict in our family, and he might be my dad or something, but
Not sure, but not to name names.
But as soon as you cross over, man, he gets right poignant to criticizing and just tearing you apart, right? And he'll try to bring up stuff you've said and twist it and just come right at, you know. And you just have to take Captain Anonymous's shield and block those things. But that's tough. How have you handled that, Summer? How have you handled triggers and stayed sober? What tools have you leaned on to avoid relapse because of that? I mean, she cannot literally and physically make you feel anything, but she can influence that. And so what do you do to guard yourself? And what do you plan to do in the future for when you know these things are going to reoccur, basically, until she realizes her own thing? Grandma does it, huh? My mom does it too, but she's getting a little better the longer I'm clean, but not my grandma. Yeah. Well, that's good that your mother's coming. She's starting to see, and the changes, and the better you do, the easier it'll get for them as well, because they have triggers as well. I'm sure that we trigger them, you know, and just our daily routines. Not that we mean to, and sometimes we do. I bet I'm a major. I would love to see it.
I feel like you need to have a reality show, Bob.
Yeah, you do. We need to have Bob on live one of these nights if he wants to. That's funny. Veronica, my husband has been talking to me a lot lately and asking me about my recovery in these meetings. I pray he's going to. That's where it starts.
That's good.
You guys remember when we went through the 5 stages of recovery? What was it? You're basically in denial, pre-contemplation. That's what they called it. And then you are in the contemplation stage where you're like, uh-oh, is this a problem? And you start contemplating things. And then you have, what is it? Pre-planning. You're ready to kind of start planning for it. And then you are pre-contemplation, contemplation. I can't remember. But anyway, you end up in, you want to take action. You know, you need to take action. So you start kind of planning some things out and you kind of have a tentative date set for when you're going to quit, but you're still using. And then there's the action stage where boom, you take action, you quit, you're working a program. You either, no matter what it is, either 90 and 90, or you check yourself into a place and you start working that program. And then once you get out of that program, you're on to the 5th stage, which is maintenance. And that's where you start relying and using on all the tools that you learned in the action stage, and then you press forward. So it sounds to me like he's in the contemplation stage.
Yeah, just keep
Which
leading by example.
Keep planting those little seeds, be there for them, draw the boundaries that are necessary to keep you healthy and clean, and, you know, press. I like it.
Jeanette's at work. On my way to work.
Oh, we'll tell her to tune in for like 3 seconds.
I don't think she has her phone on her.
Oh, well. We'll have to show it. We'll show it to her next time.
Yeah, next time she's on.
I'm learning about my triggers and learning to fix them. Awesome. Good, Naomi. Absolutely good. I hope he's getting there. It's so hard to live with an alcoholic, but I love him so much. I've been there. Just keep praying. Yeah,
Definitely, Veronica.
couldn't do it. Plant the seeds of recovery, just like Jeffrey's saying. Absolutely. So where are we at? Number 9, review the recovery program. All family members will report to the family to recover program to. All right, let me reread that. Sorry. All family members will report to the family the recovery program that they have established for themselves. The focus here, how will you and I know that I am doing well in my recovery? Does your family know that about you, or your significant other, or whoever you rely upon, whoever you're closest to? Ask them this question. How will you and I know that I am doing well in my recovery? All are invited to express their recovery needs and point out the progress in treatment. And that's constructive criticism. If you're not willing to take constructive criticism, that's bad news for you. Your ego, that's a character defect. You have to be able to see yourself through somebody else's eyes, because they're oftentimes they're going to see something in you that you don't see because of our ego-based denial of how good we really think we are. When in a lot of cases, we're not as good as we often think we are, you know. And that's one of those things. So be open to constructive criticism. Number 10 is denial interruption plan. Yeah, imagine that. Denial is the next thing on the list. Both addiction and co-addiction are diseases of denial. Most of the denial is unconscious. And that's what I was talking about. You have an unconscious denial that somebody could point out, and you just got to be willing and open to see that, have that paradigm shift. Neither the addict nor the co-addict realizes that they are in denial when this is happening. It is important to take the reality of denial into account early, like right now. Recognize the fact that you could be in denial. It's important. Each family member should be asked the question, what are other people in your family supposed to do if they give you feedback about concrete warning signs and you deny it, ignore the feedback, or become angry or upset? Each family member should recommend specific plans for dealing with their own denial. This open discussion sets the stage for intervention should denial become a problem in the future. There you go. So based on that, what I said before about the constructive criticism and somebody approaching you and you getting offended and acting out in anger towards somebody that brings something to your attention, number 1, be open to it, but have a plan how you're going to deal with it. So know that it's coming, and how are you going to deal with it? Pray, 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 pray. Amen. Number 11, the relapse early intervention plan. Addiction and co-addiction are prone to relapse. Relapse means becoming dysfunctional in recovery. For the recovering addict, relapse may involve alcohol and drug use, or it may simply mean that the person becomes so depressed, anxious, angry, or upset that he is dysfunctional in sobriety, the dry drunk syndrome. For the co-addict, relapse means the return to a state of co-addict crisis that interferes with the normal functioning. Once family members enter into acute relapse episodes, they are out of control in their thoughts, emotions, judgments, and behavior. They're out of control in their thoughts, emotions, judgments, and behavior. That's when you are entering into this acute relapse episode. They often need the direct help of another family member to interrupt the crisis. You hear that? They often need direct help from another family member to interrupt this crisis. So many times they resist this help. They act as if they do not want the help, even though they desperately need it. The family is instructed in the process of intervention. Intervention is a method of helping people who refuse to be helped. This intervention training has resulted in a radical decrease in the duration and the severity of relapse episodes in family members. So you need to have a plan of how you're going to take it when somebody confronts you. You need to have a plan of intervention of what you're going to do when you see episodes occurring that they don't see because of the denial-based symptoms, and make a plan. And it's hard work. And the work you have to put into your program is just as much energy as you put into your addiction, you have to put into your program. And if it's only for the better, and it's not like you're going to fail, but it's not going to be as good as it could be. Follow up and reinforce. Number 12. Addiction and co-addiction are lifelong conditions. The symptoms can go into remission, but they never totally disappear. They resist quietly, waiting for a lapse in recovery program to become active again. I'm going to read that one more time. Addiction and co-addiction are lifelong conditions. The symptoms can go into remission, but they never totally disappear. They rest quietly, waiting for a lapse in the recovery program to become active again. So they'll go into remission, they'll hang out and kick back, but as soon as you stop working your program, they're right there waiting just to press through.
The dog wants in so bad.
I know. It is important that a family maintain an ongoing recovery program, including AA, Al-Anon, periodic relapse prevention checkups with professional addiction counselor. And that's what I do every Tuesday. And I check in with my counselor every Tuesday. There's one more chapter, chapter 10 of this book, and then we are on to our next one. I'll read through this, and I'll read through these last pages, and I will just do an outline of it. We won't read it word for word. I will pull out the big idea of what it's talking about, and then we will go through that. And then we will start, Sunday night? Sunday night, we'll jump into our new book. All righty? That sounds like good. What's up, Joseph?
Here, that works both ways.
That works both ways. If they get us wrong, we got to forgive them because they don't understand. Absolutely. Yep. I take time to relax and meditate. Mm-hmm. Me too.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. But now I'm trying to educate mom on addiction and co-addiction. So this is an awesome meeting. Thank you.
Oh, good.
Yeah. And if you go back, Pete, and look at the last 4 streams, we've been really heavy on co-addiction and what it means. And then before that was all about relapse warning signs and prevention. And so,
Hi, cousin. Hi, George.
What's up, cuz?
Good night, Cody.
George. Who's George?
George Wait. He's been a couple times.
Has he been there? I love Saturn. That's cool. Welcome, George.
He says, I used to think I was over it.
Oh, it never goes away. What brought you back to thinking that, or realizing that you're not? What was there an episode? Go let Megan in. Now she's driving me crazy. That sounded like she went to the back
It's
door.
hard with my left hand.
It's weird using a mouse.
I'm
with your
not
left hand, though.
left-handed. So
We arrest the
ridiculous.
behaviors in the addict or whatever systems. Yeah, it's like whatever one your water is, the one that grows. I know someone who had 35. Whoops. See, that's what happens right there. I know someone who had 35 years and relapsed. That could be us.
Yeah, you just never know. It's those things happen in life that you just
Suit
don't
up
see
and
coming.
showing up to this channel. Absolutely. And all other recovery activities and relapse need not happen. Absolutely. You got to keep your mind in recovery and work your program. If you work the program, if you work it, it works. It's ding ding, you know. And it's relieving. It's breathtaking. One of the biggest things that I found refreshing about going to my IOP program was when I sat down, and once I got my head a little clear of the alcohol and all that stuff, of course, was to sit in a room full of honest and open communication with human beings. And out of that work environment that I was in, you know, which we still go back to, because at work, you got smiley glad hands with hidden agendas. That's a Tool reference. You got people that are just faking it and just talking, you know, the fake talk, the small talk that's really, hey, how was your weekend? Good. How was yours? Good.
I don't even say good anymore. I'm like, meh.
That's
if it was
good.
fun.
What'd you
I
do?
know why about that.
I went fishing. I got things done. Okay. And there's never that true, honest, hey, how you feeling? What are you really going through? So you sit in this group therapy and you get to openly honest, hear people speak of their true feelings and like human being and life and reality. And it was a breath of fresh air. And the more you work your program, the more the people that come around are the same way. And it just gets better and better and better. Deeper, more deep, meaningful, true relationships with people and humans. The way it was meant to be.
Yeah, that's the way it's meant to be.
Excuse your spelling, brother. You should see me spell. Oh man. Wow. What did George say? I can be daunting to think that getting clean is only the small part of recovery. Yeah, it is the small part of recovery. And that's what I tell people all the time is I was in my IOP and about the third month in, I'm working these character defects. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. I'm working on my mind. And then I went and I like stopped and contemplated for a second. Oh my goodness, I was here to get sober. I forgot about that. That was just the small chunk. And then you got to start working on yourself. And that's the reason that drove me there. But there was a bigger reason once I finally broke through the shell and saw what recovery really is. A lot of people don't know what recovery is. They think because they abstain from alcohol and drugs, they're in recovery. And that's not true. Recovery is much larger than that. And it's not that it's so large, it's, something unachievable. It's a simple program and it's refreshing, but you got to break through. That's that sit in the meetings until that miracle happens. And that's when your eyes are opened and the paradigm shifts and you see the world in a new way. It smells and looks different. And it's a much better looking and smelling world. Thanks, George. I like this shirt too.
It's much better.
I appreciate the talk about co-addiction. I got a real bad case. Should probably hit some Al-Anon meetings. Who knows with all those black belt silence might get Yeah, you should.
You should,
It
Bob.
would never hurt. It doesn't hurt for the co-addict to go to AA and NA, and it doesn't hurt for the addict to go to Al-Anon. So I think
It gives you a good perspective of both sides.
all types of education in recovery is a necessity. It's a necessity. I'm getting out of my comfort zone now and opening up with my sober peers. Good. Get it off your chest. It's a refreshing just to have somebody there that can hear and understand and know. Even if they don't say anything, just being able to talk about it and you just know they understand. Yeah. Jeff, I can't spell, dude. That's why I have my Alexa right here. The most simple word. My kids look at me like, Dad, are you serious? I can't spell.
Here's something about spelling. Every time the word incorrectly is spelled incorrectly is when it's spelled incorrectly.
When the word incorrectly is spelled incorrectly, it's spelled incorrectly. Yeah. Whoa. Absolutely. It's worth it, and we are worth it. Thank you, George. Thanks. It was hard to be honest about my alcohol. Yeah. And let me read how it works. Okay. This is Tracy. I'm sure you've heard it before, but when we actually chew on it, and I love chewing on this one. It's a good paragraph. I'm going to read it and then we'll kind of go back through and chew on it. So it says, rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path. Those who do not recover are people who cannot or will not completely give themselves to this simple program. Usually men and women who are constitutionally incapable of being honest with themselves. There are such unfortunates. They are not at fault. They seem to have been born that way. They are naturally incapable of grasping and developing a manner of living which demands rigorous honesty. Their chances are less than average. There are those too who suffer from grave emotional and mental disorder, but many of them do recover if they have the capacity to be honest. You have to be completely honest. I heard one time, and I haven't really researched it, but I heard that they took the first word out of this paragraph that says rarely to never. I guess it used to read, never have we seen a person fail. But then I guess they changed it to rarely for some reason. But rarely have we seen a person fail who thoroughly followed our path. So if you thoroughly follow this path, you're not going to fail. Those who do not recover, okay, there's 4 people in this. The persons that succeed are the people that follow the path. The second person, those who do not recover, are people who cannot or will not completely give themselves. It's a giving of yourself to this program. And it's men and women who are unable to be honest with themselves. Who are the people that make it? The people that follow the path, open themselves up, the people who are open and honest with who? Themselves. And when you're honest with yourselves, you're not afraid to be honest with others. The people that fail, number 2, the 2 second people in here, are the people of incapable of it. And they're such on, so those are the people that won't make it. The second group of people is the people that can't be honest. And then there are the such unfortunates, and it's not their fault. They seem to have been born that way. They are naturally incapable of grasping or developing a manner which demands rigorous honesty, and their chances are less than average. And then there's 3, those who suffer from grave emotional and mental disorders, and you have seen them recover, and they have but many of them do recover if they have the capacity to be honest. So I guess that's 3 people, not 4, sorry. So 1, people who follow the path and they can be completely honest, they succeed. 2, people who can't be honest with themselves fail. And then 3, you got people with grave emotional or mental disorders, but many of them even recover if they have the capacity to be honest. So to talk about what you're talking about, Tracy, is that honesty. And it's a rigorous honesty that must happen. And that honesty is when you look in the mirror, and then you're able to be open and honest with people. And it's a very refreshing thing, in my opinion. Both of these AA and NA versions, yeah. "45 days, right on. Good job.
Good job, Tracy.
918. Sometimes we relapse because extreme happens. A death in the family, maybe a divorce or something terrible like that. That is probably why they say rarely or not anymore." Yeah, but Corey, the point of recovery is to be able to make it through those extreme times and come out okay. This morning we went in, and this happened at 11 o'clock today. Our family went in. My aunt, who's laying on her deathbed, and she might make it tonight. She might make it another day, is all she's looking. And I could take that as an excuse to go get drunk because I was close to her. She's the aunt that came the most out of all my family. And some of my family visited me while I was in jail, but she was regularly always there to visit me in jail. So I got pretty close with this aunt. But it's an extreme, and I'm emotional about it, of course. And I could use it as an excuse, but through the tools that I've learned in recovery, I'm not going to. And that is the point of recovery, is to make it through this COVID-19. That's to make it through anything that life throws at us. We're going to be able to manage and handle it. Does that make sense? Recovery is beautiful. I highly recommend it. And trust me, I know it feels good to party and to do the things, but eventually that runs its course. It does. It's fun to, and I don't know, when you're in that feeling good party stage, you're out of control. You're not in control. You're just kind of sitting back and you're along for the ride. And it's fun and you laugh a lot, but it's very destructive. That's probably me looking back on it and realizing that when I was in that party mode, you know what mode I'm talking about. When you just walk in and boom, you bring that energy to the room and You got it. You got a personality like mine. I heard you talking the other day. You can walk in, you can control the room, you can get people to do stuff they normally wouldn't do, and you just get that whole place hyped, and it's fun, it's loud, and I know what you're talking about, Merc. But now when I look back out of that, I thought I was in control because I could control a room like that. But now I look back at myself and I'm like, man, I was actually out of control. I was sitting back just letting this addict have its way and actually causing chaos and, making addicts out of people pretty much. But I know what you're talking about, brother. I made excuses to use over my mom dying, call people healthy regardless if you won't think you will. Yeah, I will. And that's why I bring it out and talk to you guys with it. And let you know. Then you guys can, I'm on here every night at 8:00. I'm always in the comments. I'm always on my email checking it. So you guys can get to know me. And I want you to be able to know me. Just if you're here every night at 8:00, you're definitely getting to know me. And I know some of you, like when Felice knocked over the light, you saw me get a little angry sometimes. There's stuff you'll see about the real me when I'm not just in talk mode. You know what I mean? And so you can check and, hey, you look like you're slipping today, brother. What's going on? And when you wake up the next day, you do it again and again and again, and you don't know when to stop. Yep. I know, bro. Yep. You're welcome, brother. I'm glad you're here, Merd. Thank you for finally subscribing. I saw that. I saw that.
Took you long enough. It's because you kept calling him the wrong name.
Well, he accepted his name.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He's the Merd now. At what point I recover, it is okay to consider finding a partner. And is it better to look for someone who's is recovering themselves or someone who doesn't suffer from addiction? Well, first off, George, how long did he say he was clean?
I don't know. Let me go.
I forgot your sobriety date already, but I'm sure you've heard that it's recommended that you wait a good year. Don't worry about that stuff for a year. You just fix yourself, take care of yourself and all that kind of good stuff. And if you are attracted to another person that's in recovery, I would investigate their recovery program and how well they're working it, because if one addict messes up, could lead to another addict messing up. So I don't know. I would be careful. If I wasn't with her, what kind of partner would I lould for, knowing what I know right now? And I wouldn't even know how to
He
answer
would look
that.
for me again.
I'd need to find somebody like Felice. I don't even know what personality. I don't know if I would want somebody I know I wouldn't find somebody that was using drugs or partying or going drinking. Would I want somebody that had already been through all that and in recovery now? Maybe. I don't know. Would I want a goody two-shoe that's never seen reality of addiction and doesn't know what I'm possible and capable of? I don't know. I'd have to think about it for a long, and I overthink things. So I would think
what you've started.
I would think about 20 million different situations, variables, and then I've been like, well, is the nail beds and her fingernails long enough? I don't know.
That's the only reason he loves me, is because of these.
I'm attracted to hands, women's hands.
I have nice, lovely nail beds.
Beautiful nail beds. And I'm not going to talk crap on the ones I don't like. Probably ones that look like mine. Oh man, those are ugly. I talked to my therapist. I already used it as a prevention tool. Good job. There you go. Working that program.
I'd look in Russia. Get you a Helga, Bob. You go find her. She's
Who
out
said
there. Bob.
Bob wants a Helga
yeah.
so bad. One with a garage. Yes. I love where your head's at, Mark. At least a year sounds reasonable. Yeah, that's what our counselors always told us. And because, we're sitting in a group therapy, and there was a couple married people in group, like me and a couple of my buddies that are my real good buddies now. We were married, so like we weren't even thinking about attraction to the opposite sex. We were just there like, oh geez, look what I did to my life, But then there's those single people who were like looking at each other like, hey, what's going on? And the counselor would be like, that's not even allowed here. So there was no dating allowed in our group therapy. And then that's when the conversation of wait a year would come up. What up,
Ciao.
Hammy? Right on. Thank you for watching. I'm glad you're here. I would say that name, but I would just slaughter it. You'll have to forgive me on that one.
We'll call you Hammy.
Hammy? Ham. I suck at reading. My girlfriend got clean because of me. I've been with her now since Valentine's Day, and she goes to NA now, but I try to encourage her to join us here. Sweet. Well,
That'll be fun.
that's good. And that she's doing the NA. That's good too, man. I'm so glad my friend invited me to the group. I look forward to every evening. Tracy, we're glad you're here. And if you're getting things out of this, and we know what we're doing is helping, that just brings strength. It puts, an extra stride in our step and all that good stuff. Your turn to talk.
There you go, Aaron.
You can't put them close. I have the focus set here. I'll
They're
take a picture.
Actually, really long.
I'll take a picture and
long
put them on.
fingers, Aaron.
Put them on
Have
Facebook.
long, skinny hands, but they're very lovely. Great nail beds. They get long real fast.
Who's right to associate or romantically see in recovery? Any specific guidelines? Who is right to associate with or romantically see in recovery? There's no specific guidelines. I just say take care of your sobriety first.
Yeah.
And I would honestly, what I really would do is say right now, or say Felice left me and she's done and we got divorced because of my alcoholism. It was over. And I'm in recovery now. I'm living alone and I'm starting to work on myself. And I start getting that lonely feeling, oh, my companion's gone. I'm in recovery. And I think I would, at that point, knowing exactly what I know right now, I would just be patient. I wouldn't care, because eventually through the stuff you do in service and in recovery, and you're out there doing positive things, you're working on yourself, you're going to come alongside somebody eventually who has the same mind and focus as you. And I would wait for that moment. I wouldn't go seeking anything impatiently, because that's when it just doesn't work out as good. I would just let your higher power bring that alongside you and be patient enough to wait for that, and work on the character defect of being impatient at that time and how to deal with loneliness. Take those lonely times as opportunities to overcome and realize and rely on yourself and find satisfaction in the moment, and wait for the future and what it brings to you, and enjoy the journey as you press through. That's probably what I would do. Yeah. Enjoying the journey. Thank you, Rick. Visser.
Thank you, Rick.
Yeah.
All your words of wisdom. People told me to look in church. There's some crazy.
That's one.
Church
I don't
too.
know what kind of church you're getting. What are the Church of Satan? I don't want one of those girls. But they're kind of sexy, all gothed out, man. I like those kind of girls. They got black fingernails.
Guess I'll be painting my fingernails black, folks.
Oh my gosh, dang, nobody saw the jerk. JK. Don't care about the dude. Don't worry about it here, man. I can read through it because of mine. If there wasn't spell check and Grammarly, I wouldn't be able to type a sentence at all. Like if back in the day when there was typewriters, I would not have been a typewriter guy.
There would have been a lot of
Period.
ding.
There would have been a lot. There would have been a pile of crumpled up paper next to me. Always possible to join in, but I'm grateful to hear I'm on my afternoon break now. Hey, George, enjoy the rest of your
Glad
day.
you're here, George.
Keep your mind in recovery, bro. Work that program. Thank you. That's just the way I just overthink things. I just start looking at different angles. And the more you think about it, and the more you put honest thought into it, the good answers come.
Hello, Med. We missed you.
Who's Medmed?
Where you live? We live in Utah.
Where are you
live?
from, Medmed? Medmed. That's a fun name.
I like it.
We're in Utah. Utah, United States of America.
I read that one.
America. It's up to the person, really. It's not even really our literature. I'm patient with her, but that's why we work, because she and I have our own. Nice. Good job, Elvis. That's to you. Sorry, guys, but women don't need a guy that's new in recovery and that wants to act like a douche cannon. Yeah. Ain't nobody got time for that. Recovery
Did you say
first.
A douche canoe.
I like douche cannon.
Oh, douche cannon.
That's what I read,
Yeah,
but it is canoe, I think.
I had an idea.
What?
We should make a parody of "I'm sober and I know it."
I'm sober and
I'm
I know.
sober and I know it. It's a good idea. We might have to try that.
Where's the chapstick?
That's true. And yeah, how many of you guys saw Steve Vale's live stream on? It's number 10 on
That's
our
very
stream.
good.
He made a
Highly
point
recommend
in there, and he said a really good point. But if you're the guy in recovery and you're at AA or NA and you're trying to hit on all the little chicks and stuff that are hanging out there, don't be that guy. He says he sees those guys. He goes, imagine when you go to your friend's house and you got that little stupid dog that's humping your leg, and the little dog just won't quit humping your leg, and you keep kicking it off, and you end up stopped going to that friend's house because of that dog. He goes, that's how you're acting when you go to AA or NA. Don't be that little dog.
Yeah.
And that kind of goes everywhere in life, really. Don't be that little dog.
Yeah. Don't be that guy. Don't be the creepy guy
Don't be the creepy guy.
or girl.
And he had a very strong, because of his daughter and her program and stuff, to go with that. But if you haven't seen his story, go back to stream number 10 and check it out. And if you guys are going to share any of these streams, I would highly suggest sharing stream 10 and 20. And any of these co-addiction ones are good. And don't forget, when you share, post your pictures on the Facebook recovery, because next Tuesday we're
I'll put
giving
it in
away
there again.
$100.
We got some newbies.
And if you're just here, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. Every time you guys hit like or subscribe, it increases our numbers, and we reach just a few more people every time. And that's one more person. You know, we've had somebody recently just reach out to us who's going through some things, and we've actually been able to connect through phone calls and help with our experience somebody who's going through what we've gone through. And it's satisfying at the end of the day, man. That's awesome. And to know that it could seriously save somebody's life. Green
Yeah.
Dot training from Hill Air Force Base, United States.
Exactly.
I hate that class, dude. Oh my goodness.
Don't be nasty.
That's funny, bro.
Green Dot training. Straight to you from building 507.
There you got it. Oh, that's funny. Funny stuff. You working right now, Angelo? Yeah, don't be that guy. You got any words of wisdom, bud?
Raina says hi, Linky.
All right now.
Raina.
What else we got? What else we got on the books? Let's read the 12 steps, huh? When's the last time we read through those?
Okay.
Number 1, we admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. Came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood him. Made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. Number 5, admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. Number 6, we're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. Number 7, humbly asked him to remove our shortcomings. Number 8, made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. Number 9, made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. Number 10, continued to take personal inventory, and when wrong, promptly admitted it. Number 11, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood him, praying only for knowledge of his will for us and the power to carry that out. Number 12, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all our affairs. And you know what? That's going to bring me to looking at my step 7 right now. I'm going to complete one of my questions in step 7 right here, right now. And tomorrow I will get deeper into step 7, but I don't feel like we have the time to go deep into it right now. But I'm going to ask one question and then I'm going to write it down. So step 7 says that we humbly asked him to remove, right?
Yeah.
Humbly asked him to remove our shortcomings. And I am on number 13 was make a list of my shortcomings that do not seem to fit the label of character defects. And I wrote down some of those. And number 14, it says, and so I'm going to sit here and think about this and write it down here live on this
Thank you,
stream.
Raina.
So I'm halfway through step 7 and I'm on question number 14. And question number 14 says, specifically, in what ways will you use step 7 for relapse prevention? Oh, how fitting. Specifically, in what ways will I use step 7 for relapse prevention? So relapse prevention, we understood that we can possibly relapse. We have character defects that creep in. How am I going to use humbly asking him to remove my shortcomings in my relapse prevention? Any suggestions? How would you guys use that?
Stay away from drugs and alcohol.
Okay, definitely. Specifically, in what ways will you use step 7 for relapse prevention? Humbly ask him.
Ooh,
So that would have to be, okay, so
shortcomings.
this is what I'm thinking. This is the road it's making me travel down, is I have to understand what's going to cause me to relapse. And obviously it's character defects, and character defects cause me to live coming short of God's will for me, right? And so when I fall short, I have to understand what drove me to falling short. And that's a character defect of some sort. Impatience, vulgar thinking, vulgar and immoral thinking,
Bob's missing that.
destructive behavior. So I have to first catch the warning signs. And once I see these, so I have to go back through those 37 warning signs that we went through, and I need to recognize those in my life. And by recognizing those, as soon as they come into my view, at that moment, I immediately ask God to remove it. So that's what I'm going to say.
Show Bob Smith's.
What?
Show Bob Smith's.
Which one?
The first one.
This one?
And the second one.
I'll say the 7th step every day. Amen. 7th step prayer every day. I'm going to pull that up, Bob. Seventh step prayer. My Creator, I am now willing that you should have all of me, good and bad. I pray that you now remove from me every single defect of character which stands in the way of my usefulness to you and my fellows. Grant me strength as I go out from here to do your bidding. So I'm going to write down on this one. I'm going to find my warning signs. I'm going to write over here. Find my warning signs. And when these warning signs start popping up in my life, which are my character defects.
Oh, we didn't draw a defect today.
Oh, we didn't. Oh.
Yeah. We must do that tomorrow.
And as soon as I see him, I'm going to ask him to remove them. Ask God to remove it. And then I'm going to say the step 7 prayer. That's good. I like that. How would you guys answer that question? How specifically and in what ways will you use step 7 for relapse prevention? And Bob says that he would say the prayer. And I'm right with Bob on that one. I'm right there with you, Bob. I'm going to say it too. Jeffrey says, praying for strength and the willingness to get through the situation. Nice. Best done on your knees in the morning next to the bed when arising. Sure, absolutely. Couldn't agree with that more. What's the next question? You guys want to hear the next one? Question 15 says, in addition to supporting staying clean and sober, is the working of step 7 helping manage other issues such as anxiety, depression, pain, sleep disturbance, or any other physical condition? And then it says, detail how this could be so. So in addition to supporting staying clean and sober, is the working of step 7 helping manage other issues such as anxiety, depression, pain, sleep disturbance, or any other physical condition? So I'd have to sit and that's what working your steps is. So as you noticed, I'm working on step 7. I'm on question 15. And each question is going to have you think about yourself and think about how you're going to use that specific step to keep you sober and to keep you moving forward in recovery. And that's what working the steps are. And so I'm going to start. The next book we're going to go through is the Steps That I Took by John McHugh. So don't buy it yet. I'm going to put a link in there. And then you guys can use that link and then we can go through it together. So I'll do that tonight. I will put that link in the description. We'll kick off that book tomorrow, halfway through the show. We'll go a couple of days going through some other things while everybody who wants to get the book can get the book. And then we'll start going through that book. It's going to take me a lot longer to go through that book than it will for it to arrive in the mail for you guys. And then we can go through that book together. And then once we get about halfway through that book, I will present the next book we're going through. We can all get that book. So by the time we finish the 12-step book, we'll have our next book we can go through. And then we can start going through these books together. You can get out your book. You can read your book. We can comment back and forth. You guys can put your insights in the comments and then on Facebook, we can take it to Facebook when we're not here live. You know what I mean? Excuse me. Oh. Let's start evolving this channel into actually education to where we are working together through books and not just me presenting one to you. I'll have the book and declare the book, whatever we're going to do. I've actually got 3 on the way. I got an email today of somebody who went to college and these 3 books, very simple, easy to read books. And I ordered them. They're on their way in the mail and I will post those in the links as soon as I get them. And we can gather these books together. We will go through these books together and then we can comment and question each other online, how we're doing going through these books. And then on here, I will discuss my side of it and we'll just continue to educate and let's just continue to move through recovery together for as long as we need to. And as this channel evolves, and that's kind of the future I see of this channel happening. Said that prayer every day. You need to continue to say that prayer, Bob, I hope. I've noticed in lockdown, all recovery channels that advocate a specific higher power are predominantly more successful. Really? Oh man, expand on that if you can. That's interesting. I'd like to. I search out these recovery channels too, and I haven't seen any that if I were relying on one that I would, except like Sober James, I would definitely stick around his channel. That I would stick around for very long. You know, Nicole's channel is a good one too, but I have a hard time. The only thing I don't relate with Nicole's channel is I've never been addicted to opiates or had to be on maintenance medication. So I don't understand that side. That's why anybody that's on maintenance medications or anything like that, I refer them to Nicole. What are we looking at?
She just commented in the group.
I'll read it out loud.
Would like to address.
Say her name.
Tasha Duran.
Tasha Duran.
She
Let's
says,
comment.
hello, I'm a newcomer to sobriety. What?
2 seconds. Okay, that's
Hold
going to
on,
go
Tasha.
black just for a minute. Audio will still be here. So Felice is going to read this comment. I'm going to change the battery in my camera. We didn't die. We didn't go nowhere.
She says, hello, I'm a newcomer to sobriety. I made it to about 106 days clean from dark. So the other day I decided to send a pic to my sis. And all she did was put me down, negative reply. She hurt my feelings, so I took it too far. I relapsed. So I'm trying to let it just be a slip because they always put me down. I hate living the life of struggling. I'm kind of hurt with myself, but I needed to let my relapse out because my addiction always leaves me struggling. This was the longest I had been clean in years.
We're back.
Refer her to our private Facebook group so we can all together. And I want to say to her, what's her name?
Tasha.
Tasha. I want you to know that you found a place that you don't have to fear that. In this book, we learned right out the gates in the very first pages of this book, and I've quoted it 1,000,000 times, and I'm going to quote it 1,000,000 more, just so it gets ingrained in your head as I need it ingrained in mine. I want you to know, Tasha, here and on our private Facebook group and with the people that are in these comments, we're all on the same page as far as this goes. What you did is the right thing. You verbalized, and I'm not saying your sister's the wrong person, but I would steer you towards people who are in recovery and understand where you're coming from, because you need to start talking to people who are not going to accuse, criticize, or minimize. You need to talk about your experiences. It's going to help you look at your situation more realistically, and it's going to help you bring eternal symptoms to your conscious awareness. It's going to give you the support when you need others to rely on, and that's what we're here for. We're not going to accuse, criticize, or minimize because we've been there, we've done that, we know. And you need to express as much as you can about what you're thinking and feeling, even if it seems irrational or unfounded, just like you did in the comments. And we appreciate those kind of comments, and we want to be here to support through those times of things, through those needs and all that, you know. So you're in the right spot, and I'm glad you found our channel. So if you can, jump over into our Recovering Addict private Facebook page. Click in there, we'll approve you, and then you can be in a place that's a well-needed place of recovering addicts who it's a strong community, and the deeper and bigger it gets, the stronger it gets. The more we, like I always say, we recover better together. Good
night, Pete.
Good night, Pete. Have a great night. That's really awesome. I really like your direction. Did I not read that all the way too? Sorry, Jeff. NA third step prayer is considered the seventh step prayer in AA. God, take my will and my life and guide me in recovery just for today. Amen.
Amen.
I love NA. I love them both. There's a lot of stuff I love in NA, and there's a lot of stuff I like in AA. Yeah, that's the direction it's going, brother. And I hope you guys can join me as we go through it. And then the point would be to continue to grow together. And then all of a sudden, we're planting little people, not little people in that sense, but people who are strong and educated in recovery in home groups and NA meetings. So when this breaks, right, and we go back to NA and AA physically in our communities, I hope that this channel produces strong-minded, strongly educated people to be solid foundations in these AA and NA places that they go. And now they sit in their NA and AA groups and have this foundation and solid that people can come up. And when you decide that you one day want to be a sponsor, that you're going to be one of the best sponsors that could possibly be out there, because together we have learned and educated ourselves. And I think the more that we work and do it together, like say we do buy the books, you get one, I get one, you read it, I discuss it, we discuss it together on Facebook, and I mean, how could we fail? And who could we not help in that situation? Having the answers to people's questions, man.
Yeah, just to be there for support, moral support.
The existence of a higher power, and specifically thank him or her for recovery. Amen. Me too. Yeah, I do too, Aaron. You can see how compassionate, loving Aaron is. I love that.
Mm-hmm. And very funny.
Very
and
funny.
Great taste in cake.
It's more than worth it. Yeah. You kind of see that vision too? Do you understand what I'm talking about when I say we just learn here? This is where we come for some meat and potatoes and recovery, and we go back out to our fellowships and we take that strength with them or to them. I love it. There are those selling account info from Zoom on the dark web. How much? How much they're worth?
Well, you got some kidneys for sale too.
Yeah, their stock dipped for a minute because of security issues, but they're on top of it now. Not too worried about
a
it.
joke and a quote about rock bottom.
Ooh, joke and a quote. I guess.
But if you hit Dwayne Johnson in the butt, have you hit rock bottom? Wait, the quote.
Oh, the quote.
And rock bottom is where I started my
You're welcome,
solid
Pete.
foundation.
Yeah, that is a good place to start. All right, so how does the Zoom meetings have security issues? Well, at first they were recording everything. They were recording all your information and stuff like that, but something like that to that effect. But people started leaving, so they fixed it. And I don't know how they're selling security information on the dark web, unless you're giving them permissions to your credit card and all that kind of stuff, which I did because I paid for a year. But I'm not worried about it. Somebody can steal my identity. I don't care. Go have fun with it.
Good luck. There's no money in the
Yeah,
bank.
good luck. There's no money in that bank account. What are they going to do with my identity? Make my life cooler than it really is? I could care less.
Hey, you're welcome, Petey, for that B-Day video. Proud of you. 60 days. That's awesome, bud.
Yes. I haven't had any problems yet. I know that they did have problems, and then they had that's the supply and demand. If they start demanding something you don't want and everybody's leaving, they want to keep making their money. They're going to fix their issues. I do. I pay for everything online. I'm an advocate for technology. I love it.
It's called being hacked. Yes, it is.
Hack us. I
Thank
don't
you.
care. That would be a great commercial for VPN. If you guys have the right softwares like VPN, antiviruses, and web protection, I wouldn't worry about it. Even though they are trying to create, like the newest thing is trying to create a system that can figure out any algorithm. It's called a super. I can't remember what it's called. Some type of super code breaker.
Super smart code breaker.
Where it is, I mean, it's like Google. All the big tech companies are trying to be the first ones to have it. And once they break through, and if they can break through and invent this software that breaks codes, there's not going to be a code anywhere ever that will be resistant to it being able to get through. I mean, that's a possibility. That's when, Arnold comes out of the sky naked and Terminators start walking around. Skynet.
You're gonna have Terminators and aliens.
Skynet is coming.
It's gonna be like, I want your bike.
Skynet
and your
is
clothes.
here.
I want your bike and I need your clothes.
I want your bike and your clothes. All those shades.
Someone steals my identity. We'll bring it back.
How
Ah,
bad can it
pretty
really
cool,
ruin
Aaron.
your life, though? This is just my opinion, Elvis. I understand people's security and their privacy and what they don't want. But I mean, the bills back up and you just go,
Yeah.
go through it.
We got our account.
I understand.
hacked, and
Yeah, we've had ours hacked before, but we got pretty good security measures in place.
the bank was really good about getting us our money back, and
They had our money
All that
back
stuff.
quick. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
they
and
put
then,
a stop to it right away.
And then someone
It's
stole
like
a
they're
car.
on top of that stuff.
Someone stole a car once and organized their medical bills.
Oh yeah. So our car got stolen right after, a couple months after the accident, after Linky got home, and they ended up parking it like a little bit down the street and organized all my medical bills in the back.
Green-eyed cat. He said he already lost his identity. He's trying to get it back in recovery. We all did, bro.
Oh, yeah.
No one wants an addict with a shit dead identity. We're safe in here, guys. If you guys did to your life what I did to mine, nobody wants to be identified with you.
They're like, Aaron, give it back, give it back.
Facts. I run Linux because it's a lot safer than Windows. Yeah. Wait, I don't mess with Windows either. The only programs I have from Windows is like Excel and Word, and I rarely use those anymore.
I love Excel.
But yeah. I'm pretty smart about the internet stuff that I do. Pretty smart about it.
Exactly.
Have you guys seen the antivirus won't help you? That's true. But I mean, the way that hackers hack these days, there's really no protection. I mean, we are definitely not going to be able to out hack or out protect a good hacker. The NSA, you want to see some hackers, boy. Woo-wee. NSA's in there. They know exactly what's up.
Aaron.
What?
She don't like Windows either. They're too hard to get out of. She prefers doors.
That's a good one. I love it.
Oh, the other day I went to the glasses store to get a new pair of glasses. They cost $550. I didn't see that coming.
But
Priority meetings. I initially felt that it would be impossible to attend more than 1 or 2 meetings a week. It just wouldn't fit in my busy schedule. I later learned that my priority were 180 degrees reversed. It was the everything else that would have to fit. Some of us attend meetings infrequently when we first came to Narcotics Anonymous, then wondered why we couldn't stay clean. What we soon learned was that if I wanted to stay clean, we had to make meeting attendance our priority. So we began again. Following our sponsor suggestions, we made a commitment to attend 90 meetings in 90 days. We identified ourselves as newcomers for our first 30 days so that others could get to know us. At our sponsor's direction, we stopped talking long enough to learn and listen. We soon began to look forward to meetings and we began to stay clean. Today, we attend meetings for the variety of reasons. Sometimes we go to meetings to share our experience, strength, and hope with our new members. Sometimes we go to see our friends, and sometimes we go just because we need a hug. Occasionally, we leave a meeting and realize that we haven't really heard a word that's been said, but we still feel better. The atmosphere of love and joy that fills our meetings has kept us clean another day. No matter how hectic our schedule, we make meeting attendance our priority. Just for today, in my heart, I know that meetings benefit me in all kinds of ways. Today, I want what's good for me. I will attend meetings. Oh, that's a good one. I don't know, man. I dig the just for today better than the daily reflections, tell you the truth. I like the daily reflections. It seems like the just for todays are just wow.
Yeah.
They tell you what you needed. They tell you how it is.
I have a Chuck Norris joke.
Everybody's getting ready for bed.
See, 13-year-olds. Yeah, we don't know what these kids are capable of doing. Good night. Hey, we're about to say that prayer. If you guys want to stick around, we're about to bounce out as well.
I have a Chuck Norris joke.
Alicia, you're welcome.
I have
30 and 30, good.
I have Chuck Norris joke if anybody wants to hear it.
I don't. I'm just kidding.
A roundhouse kick to the face is how you say Chuck Norris in sign language.
How do you say Chuck Norris in sign language? Roundhouse kick to the face. I love it. Is that everybody? Yeah, I love just for today's too. All right. God,
God,
grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen.
Thank y'all. Thanks
Okay,
for being
things to
here.
remember.
We love you all.
There's a $100 giveaway next
you, Long Time.
Tuesday if you share 3 videos, screenshot, and put it on the Facebook page. What's the other things? Oh, tomorrow is Zoom at 3 o'clock. Go to the private Facebook group. You'll see the invite there. Tomorrow, 3 o'clock Mountain Standard Time is Zoom meeting. And remember to stay strong. Work your inventory tonight. Do your inventory. Look at your day. How'd you do? What'd you do wrong? What can you do better? And work that program. It works if you work it. And remember, we recover better together.